Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matthew.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about our semen analysis. I guess it's your semen.
Yes.
But it's our semen, really.
Our semen, my semen.
Your semen.
Seminal analyses.
Seminal analysis. In this video, we're going to be talking about our upcoming semen analysis and how we feel about it, plus some jokes and laughs and cheeky comments along the way, because that's who we are and that's what we got to do to keep it light and to have fun.
Yes, so hang with us.
Quick recap, we have been open to conceive for over a year now, aka trying to conceive, which
Since when? About January, February last year?
April of 2020.
April of 2020. So it's May 2021. So 13 months.
And like I said, open to conceive, trying to conceive didn't really resonate with us, so we are open to conceive, but for all intents and purposes, that's what we're talking about when we say that.
We want to make a baby.
We want to make a baby.
And for 13 months, we have been putting in the reps and making the deposits to make a baby, and it just hasn't happened.
Yes. And that's a whole other conversation and so many to have within that. But specifically today, we're talking about one step that we are taking just to get a little bit more clear, get some insight, get some feedback, kind of like what's going on in my body. Makes me think of that New Girl episode. We should, if we can, cue up a clip of the New Girl episode where she's like, what's going on in my body? That's where we're at. And so we have had some conversations, and one of the least invasive, kind of lowest hanging fruit, so to speak, to explore when you might be in a position like ours is to do a semen analysis.
Yes, so this is the first semen analysis I have ever done.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, I've never been in this position before.
Yeah.
And initially I was not open to it, really. I wanted to just continue to be patient, to be honest, and just be patient and, you know, keep loving on each other and making those deposits and just believing that, yes, baby's gonna come when they're supposed to.
So that's why you were not open to it before? What did you feel like it meant? Like, why were you not open to it?
To me, starting off with a semen analysis was gonna set us off on a path of, you know, doctors and interventions and testing and blood work and, you know, pills and hormone therapies and all this stuff, which could have just been concocted in my brain. But it was a path that I really didn't want to go down when it came to conceiving and getting pregnant. And, you know, over the months, because again, it's been 13 going on 14 months, over the months, I've been a little more open to different things. And, you know, a semen analysis, it's just information.
Yep.
That's kind of where I ended up, like, mentally thinking about it. It's just information to see what's going on with my body, and I'm open to information. And it doesn't mean that we have to do anything once we get the information back.
True.
So it's just going to be cool, and I am interested to know, like, how are my swimmers? How are my swimmers swimming?
What's going on in there?
Yeah, so what information will we get back? Do you have any idea?
That's a great question. That's something that we can do kind of part 2 on when we get the feedback. But it's my understanding it's like, what's your count? So that's significant, how many you have in there. And then I guess the vitality of them. So that would be off the cuff, my assumption. But this is great, actually, because then once we do know, we can be like, oh, that's all the information it gives you.
We can do an update.
But that's what I'm thinking right now. It's your count and how that count is.
Great.
Yes.
Well, that'll be some interesting information to know, because I'm going on 35 years old and I have not had any idea what was going on in there. I know that at least one time my swimmers were swimming strong, because we have one child. I have one child that
Yes. Question for you, because I think people might be wondering this, or I've wondered this. Do you have any sort of like male insecurity things coming up for you? I don't know the best way to label that, but do you have any things coming up about like your manhood and your virility and is there anything around that for you? No.
That's cool. I mean, I don't really feel or think or believe that my sperm count says anything about my manhood, who I am as a man. So,
sure.
You know, I just think that it's one of those things that is different with people.
Yeah.
Some people are higher, some people are lower. And I mean, even if I were to go down that path, I could already say, well, I was able to create a child. So, you know, at least I'm a little bit of a man, right? If I was in that headspace.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, there's nothing in there kicking around. think part of it again was just what door gets opened when we go down this this path, and partly because of ignorance, partly because of just fear and wanting to kind of deny or avoid that topic. I just didn't want to go down there.
Yeah.
And I'm still a little ignorant as to what the pathways are. You have had more conversations with some medical professionals than I have, so I know a little bit now. But it would be nice to kind of understand, like, okay, this is the path. If you start going down this, these are the things that you can expect. I'm still not 100% clear as to what those are, but I am open to getting this analyzed.
Yes, I'm glad you said all of that. And, for me, one of the resistances I've had is about having intervention of any kind, really. And this is a minimal, you could argue a minimal intervention, because we are going to be going to a doctor's office. We're going to be dropping off your seed and all that stuff. So being in a place, from doing it at home and having our home birth, we're very much low to minimal intervention, if that's the way that it flows for you. So it did feel a little bit like going against that a little bit. However, to your point, it's just feedback. It's just information. So that's what was helpful for me to kind of, and I think it's great. Now we have that perspective. We know what it's like to conceive a baby. The very first month we said, hey, let's conceive a baby. We know what that's like.
Yeah,
and now, because that was our experience with Maya. And now we know what it's like to be 13 months into WTF. So
and they're very interesting experiences. And, I have a lot of compassion for people and couples who, haven't been able to conceive on the timeline that they want, or maybe haven't been able to conceive at all. So having gone through this experience, because the past 13 months have been rocky, they've been up and down. We've had moments where we felt very, very low and frustrated and, just kind of at odds with each other. And then we've had moments where we were so grateful and incredibly present and just, loving the family that we have and not mourning the family that we don't have. So it's been up and down. And it's not something that I thought was going to happen with us after conceiving Maya, like within the first week of trying. But here we are, and so I'm gonna embrace it. This is all part of our experience and part of our journey. So I don't want to just try to forget it or push it aside. Like, let's embrace it all, because we've grown over the last 13 months.
Oh, so much.
Our communication, expressing how we feel about things, our patience with each other, our intimacy has grown tremendously over the last 13 months. So that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And I think also the way we are with Maya.
Yes.
It's like, if having the second child wasn't working the way we wanted, then we sort of had this, then let's pour everything into the one that we have. So
present.
Being so present with Maya, just spending more one-on-one time, more family time, more date nights, all of that is amazing.
So let's switch gears for a second. Us and our personalities. We got to have fun with things. We got to keep things light and cheeky and sarcastic. And that's just kind of our personalities. And so, yes, absolutely. The past year has had very low lows. There's been lessons and everything gained from it. And I personally felt a kind of breakthrough in the past couple of weeks, especially when my last period arrived and just hitting this low moment. And then when we did come into the space of being open to this, I'm also doing a couple of things on my end, like an ovulation tracker kit. And, then we're talking about what the next steps are. So we're having these conversations, but in the midst of that, I felt this incredible healing and relief and kind of weight lifted off of me when we could just laugh about things, when we could just joke about things. And, to each their own. That might not be the mechanism for everyone to kind of reach that place of more healing and acceptance, but it has been for me. And
that's kind of who we are. We like to crack jokes and laugh about.
So just this. I was wondering, I was like, how many things can we say in this video to not get kicked off YouTube?
Euphemism?
One, I never thought I would purchase these things in my life. Purchase these on Amazon, and
I got biohazard on them too. I'm like, is my sperm biohazardous?
That's scary. Anyway, so I got a 3-pack of those. In case you're wondering, they come in very large packs. We did not need a multi-pack. This was the least I could find that made sense per cost. So anyway, these are our cups. And just to be cracking jokes with one another too, in a way that we know that safe space. I mean, to some that might hear it or, don't know us, but like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you'd say that to each other. But this is 10 years of friendship, 10 years of togetherness. Like, we know each other and we know the boundaries and we know the lines in which, to communicate with one another. So I think the other day when we were talking about this, we were like, what if there's something wrong with your sperm, and I was like, what if you have slow swimmers, and what if they this and that? And then I don't know if you remember this, but you were like, well, what if you have old crusty eggs? And for some reason in that moment, like, for those who have experienced, those lows or like a grief sort of sensation, that one thing that sparks that can just make you roar in laughter.
It does so much.
Can be so incredible. And so it just opened everything up. And, it had been a hard week up until that point. And when you said that, there was just something about, I don't know if I had this visual of like old crusty eggs inside of me or something, but I just laughed hysterically. And I loved you so much more in that moment for it, because I just thought, we are in this together and we can, find the joy and find the humor. And so that was just hysterical. And a couple other things around it were, we had to figure out when to do this, right? Scheduling wise.
Oh yeah, because there's like a window after.
There are interesting.
After I fill the cup, we have to rush.
Pretty much.
We have to run ourselves, drive real fast over to the office. Because I guess the swimmers stop swimming after a little while.
They don't stop swimming, but anyway,
what do they do?
Does
it cool off? They get too cold?
That's a great. See,
they get lonely.
An hour and a half. An hour and a half is the time frame from emission to when we need to get it to where it needs to be. So there's that.
Emission?
Emission, yeah, like when you, right?
An emission. Like ejection.
Ejection. Anyway, so there's that factor. There's the hour and a half thing. The other thing is, ideally, you would have not released your seed for a few days.
Oh, I've been building up for a long time because we didn't know what day this was going to happen.
So I was like, keep them in.
So we normally make love 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened this week. So I am full to the brim.
Okay, so there's that. And then there was one other thing about the timing. Oh, so then it was like, what day is it going to happen? So between our schedules, we have pretty busy lives. So it was like, okay, ideally, back up for a second, when we knew we were going to do this, like, let's make a beautiful space about it. Like, I'm not just going to hand Matthew a magazine, send him into the bathroom, and tell him to come back out when he's finished. Like, we were planning to do this together and like have a lovemaking session of some kind that it, resulted in getting the boys in the cup.
I've been excited for Sarah to coax these out of me.
Yes. So in talking about that, like, what day can this work? What day can this work? And then I remember one of the days I wasn't going to be available. I was in a meeting or something. And for some reason, my brain shut off. And I just thought, well, how are you going to be able to do it by yourself then? Like, I remember being in the car. Do you remember? And I said, but how's that going to work? And you looked at me and you said, I have years of practice.
I said, I have 35 years of experience. And then you said you were jerking off at 1?
Yeah, because that's too long. So more like 20-ish years that you have experience of that. So just that, like, all the humor in that. So here we are. This is actually the morning in which we're going to drop off. So this is a before video.
Yeah, so I'm trying to hurry you up. You're talking a lot.
Well, speaking of hurry up, you said that we don't need much time at all, which I thought was hysterical. This morning when we woke up, you're like, it's going to be super quick.
That's because it's been like a week. You might just blow on me and it's done. You got to try to catch it.
Oh, that was one thing. You asked me logistically, you're like, are you going to hold the cup? Am I going to hold the cup? Are you going to hold me? Am I going to hold me?
I imagine
Who knows?
Kind of like, so last week I said, have you ever done a water balloon toss, Sarah? And I said, I think you should hold the cup and we should have some distance between and you have to catch.
I think that's a horrible idea because it's going to set us back 4 days. I know we have more cups.
We've got 3 cups.
So that's going to set us back.
I got a lot in me.
Okay. So there you have it. That's some of our thoughts and feelings and complete ridiculousness around this semen analysis. I am very personally excited about it.
I'm excited too.
Trying something different, to have the perspective, I think is a huge thing. And it's something that feels productive. It's also something that, just gives us some information, something to just go off of. And for me, I'm totally cool right now in this moment. If it comes back like, hey, just chill out, everything's fine, great. or hey, take this vitamin, do this thing, like great. So that's all it is for me, and there's no one else I want to do it with, and I'm so excited. And
I should probably give you the cup. You're gonna be the catcher.
What an honor. And this is something, one last thing, this is something that I never thought I would be sharing. I mean, even to share almost a year ago, it was a few months into our conception journey that we shared on the podcast, that's what was going on for us. I never thought we would do that. I totally thought it would be the kind of thing, no matter how long it took, we wouldn't share anything until we became pregnant. And then we could share, oh, and by the way, all this went on beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, we're sharing as we're in it, which is different, but that's real. People are in it right now.
Yes.
And there's folks who are deeper in it than we are, and people who are just, starting and are just realizing it's not happening in their time frame. So this is transparency, this is honesty, and this is also how we're choosing to relate to it. I mean, you've heard a lot of laughs, a lot of smiles, and we've gotten to this space. It wasn't always this way, but we are very grateful. We are intentional about adopting perspectives that make us feel good, make us feel uplifted, and we always hold space for possibility. So
we do.
That's what it is.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Hit subscribe, like, drop some comments and questions below, reach out. Thank you so much.
Peace.